How about the run we have been on with the OutKick six-pack? We have given out almost exactly 100 NFL gambling picks so far on the season. We have won 61 of them, and we have lost 38 of them. So we've given out 99 picks, and we have won 61 of them. That is pretty outstanding, right at 62%, I believe, when you do the math-ish, on overall winners so far this year when you round up and look at the percentages and everything else. So what we're going to do now that we're into the postseason is I am going to pick all 6 of the games, the 3 Saturday games, the 3 Sunday games, and next week I'll pick the divisional round, and then the week after that we'll do the AFC and the NFC. We'll take a week off, and then we'll give you some Super Bowl picks. Probably take some props, have some fun with a bunch of the available options out there for the Super Bowl. All right. Dub, you've been here for all these picks. You've analyzed them. Did you ever believe that we would be at 62% winners at the end of the regular season?
Not at this volume. I mean, you can be 62%, when you pick 1 or 2 games a week.
Right.
We're picking 6+ games a week. Like you said, almost 100 games on the season. And we're sitting here at 61 and 38. I mentioned this last week. If you were a bettor out there and you bet $100 on every single one of these picks, you would have been up $1,920 for the NFL regular season. That's pretty good return on investment there.
That's basically like the OutKick stimulus.
Absolutely.
Right? Everybody's struggling economically. A lot of people are anyway. The OutKick stimulus check would have been nearly $2,000 just by betting all of our gambling picks. All right. So here we go with the 6 picks. I'm going to give them to you one at a time. Dub, you can either ratify or repudiate each of these decisions. All right, I'm going to start. These are in order in which the games are kicking off. All right, so I'm starting Saturday at 1 o'clock Eastern with Bills going up against the Colts, and I am finishing with the Browns at the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. All right, so literally in the order in which they are kicking off. Indianapolis is at the Bills. I love the over 51 here. The Bills' offense has been averaging well over 30 points down the stretch run here. I don't think there's any way that this Colts defense is going to be able to stop them based on the way that Josh Allen is playing. Therefore, the Colts are going to have to make plays in the passing game, but I like the way they're running the football with Jonathan Taylor, who went off last weekend for the Colts against the Jags. I think this game goes over easily. It's right now at 51. I think the score of this game is going to end up being something like 35 to 28-ish. The Bills, I believe, are going to win, but that's right around what the spread is, which is 6.5. The over is the play in Indianapolis at Buffalo.
It's funny how things change throughout an NFL season, because if you remember back at the beginning of the year, the Colts were regarded as having maybe the best defense in the NFL.
That's right.
Lately, the second half of the season, this is a dead nut over team. If you bet the over in the second half of the season with the Indianapolis Colts, you are making money. The Bills' offense is a powerhouse. Over 51. I like it.
Okay, the next game up, Rams at Seattle. We don't know 100% about the health of Jared Goff, although Dr. Chow, you can go follow him up to the minute, but he just talked to us in the last segment and said he thinks that Jared Goff is going to be a go. That might make you think that the Rams' offense is going to be better, but frankly, this Rams' offense has just not been very good. You talk about flipping scripts. First half of the season, you couldn't lose taking Seattle in the over. Second half of the season, the Seattle defense has ended up being dominant. Remember, it looked like Russell Wilson was going to run away with the MVP award early in this season. I'm going under 42.5. Rams on the road, rubber match. Both these teams know each other well. I think it's going to be hard to make a lot of plays on the offensive side of the ball. I think the value here, value pick, under 42.5.
I like the under here, too, and the one thing that's making me nervous is the fact that Jared Goff is playing. I'm worried he's going to fumble it or throw a pick six or something.
Yeah,
he's bad
that's
enough
a valid
healthy.
concern.
So that's my only concern, but other than that, I think this is an under game as well.
So Bucks at the Washington football team. Tom Brady, wild card night. You have a great stat we talked about on Thursday which is Brady hasn't been good at night because you think your theory is it's after his bedtime?
Well, yeah, he is on a very strict schedule. And when you think about it, I put it in my own life. I wake up every day around 4 a.m., more or less, to go to work, right? So on the weekends, I have a really tough time sleeping in past like 6:30. It's kind of the opposite.
No matter how late you're out, you
Exactly.
still wake up early.
Yeah,
and I'm kind of the same way. Like, I partly attribute that to getting older. Like, older people tend to get up later in the day, and I've been doing this show now for 5 years, and maybe it's just that my body has adjusted to being an early riser more so. But even on the weekend, when I get into bed and I'm like, okay, it's going to be Saturday or Sunday. Like, I was talking about this the other day with one of my buddies. I was like, you remember when we were in college how much we used to complain about the early kickoff game because you'd be out at the bar, like the Jefferson Pilot game for the SEC fans out there, or an 11 a.m. Central kick, which happens a decent amount in the Central time zone for SEC football. What's wild is I now find myself getting up so early on Saturday and Sunday. I'm like, man, when are the games going to start? I'm like, what's going on? I've exactly flipped. And if the game's at night, I'm like, God, I don't want to sit around all day waiting for this game to kick off at 7 o'clock at night, right? So I have flipped on that. I can give respect to Brady, but you heard Dr. Chow talking about the injury issues on Washington. I just don't buy into Alex Smith and this offense being able to be explosive enough, even if Mike Evans isn't playing. I like the Bucs minus 7.5.
I like it too, and I have the Bucs in a teaser. 7.5 seems a little high, but it's on the number. So I think Tampa Bay wins. I think they probably roll.
I am going to this game. The Ravens up against the Titans. I will be in the stands Sunday, noon Central Time kick, 1 Eastern. I love the over. The Titans can't stop anybody. They can't get off the field on third down. Their offense is going to have to score a lot of points. A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Derrick Henry, Jonnu Smith combined with Ryan Tannehill. I think both of these teams are going to score. It wouldn't shock me if they both put up 30. I like the over 54.
I agree. This reminds me of Titans-Texans last week in Week 17.
Yep. Bears going up against the Saints. Bears have turned, we're talking about flipping teams. The Bears have turned into an offensive juggernaut with Mitch Trubisky down the stretch. The Saints starting to round back into shape offensively. I like their defense, but Michael Thomas is coming back. I think they pull away. This number feels low to me at 47.5. I'm on the over.
Yeah, gun to my head, I'd probably just choose the Saints side. I would like to fade Chicago, but
they're all the way out to 10, which is just a big number in the playoffs.
Yeah, it is a big number, but I think it's big for a reason.
So I'm on the over. I think, well, if you believe the Saints are really going to get out ahead, then the over's a good play too, because then the Bears, they're down 14 or 20 points. They'll likely stack up some points as well. But I like the over. Finally, the final pick of the OutKick six-pack, Browns at Steelers. This number is dipped down to 5.5 at FanDuel. I'm on the Steelers. I think that not having Stefanski is going to be a big deal for the Browns. I think you saw this a little bit in the Clemson game against Ohio State. You can script early plays, but then when you have to start dynamically adjusting to what you're seeing on the field, I think it's going to be harder for the Browns to do that without Stefanski there, without the same coaching staff interaction that they would ordinarily have. So I've got the Steelers at minus 5.5, even as wobbly as the Steelers have been. I think they come out and play a good game, get the win over the Browns.
If there's one quarterback in this wild card round that I do not want to back without their offensive coordinator, it's Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
I think the Steelers is the only way to go in this game.
We don't want Baker Mayfield going full Johnny Moxon and calling plays like in Varsity Blues out on the field. That seems like it could be a recipe for disaster for the Browns. So there are our 6 picks. We're on the over in the Bills against Indianapolis, the under in Rams and Seahawks, Bucks against the Washington football team, the Ravens, Titans over, Bears, Saints over, and the Browns, Steelers. We are on the Steelers. Love all you guys out there. Go subscribe to the OutKick podcast. Let's keep it going with the picks. Let's keep rolling. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend and enjoying the games. We'll be back same bat time, same bat channel Monday morning. This is OutKick on Fox Sports Radio.